Pedersen Show.
Now, I don't know, like Mark Cohan and I were really close, and I think he would agree. His legacy was renaissance of the league, new stadiums, packed stadiums. I'm wondering for yours, you could already say, got the league through COVID, stable ownership in those two markets, but I think you'd really like a 10th team. Hey, before the gun sounds, any reason why it's not Moncton? Drummond told me, but I can't remember why. You and I were together at Touchdown Atlantic in 2019. Great stadium, great city. Why is that not an option for the CFL?
Yeah, Rod, it's not been dismissed. For lots of very good reasons. There's a feeling that Halifax would be an ideal location in Atlantic Canada. That's where we have been having most of our conversations. Look, I have reached out to Mayor Arnold in Moncton is a wonderful mayor and a really good person. And we've had some, conversations. We certainly haven't dismissed a conversation with them. But there seems to be a lot of energy around Halifax right now. And Rod, we have even with the disruption in COVID, we've made some real progress. And there's some genuine, very authentic interest in that community from real strong community leaders that want to see us bring that 10th team there. I think we've moved the ball down the field, but you and I both know you can get in the red zone if you're down by 5 points, but it doesn't matter unless you actually score. And I think we're either in the red zone or close to it around our 10th franchise. But now it's time. It's getting real. And now we got to see a few things happen. But there's reason for optimism. And certainly I've got great support from the governors to continue to step on the gas here and see if we can't get this across the finish line.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
The CFL's unfairly maligned for lack of loyalty and player turnover. We saw it with the NFL last year in the quarterback carousel. Now the NHL. When you sit back and watch the games, no matter the league, you get over it pretty quickly, don't you?
You do, but you still don't have that identity with the players. Like players that bounce around from team to team to team to team to team don't have an identity and don't build that real core fan base.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yes, it is. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the RP Show, episode 1071, coming to you from sunny, believe it or not, and a little breezy South Florida. We're live on the Game Plus television network and welcoming close to 2 million new homes watching on Shaw Rogers Channel 230. Hello. Make your presence known, please. Text lines open for EMJ Marketing, 902-518-3033. We're also on WQEE. And YouTube Live. Let's bring in Darren Moose DuPont. He is in Toronto. He is one half of the RP Show. And Moose, I just want to say I appreciate the well-wishers. A lot of people writing down here about Hurricane. They're writing me. I'm receiving it down here about Hurricane Idalia, if I'm even saying that right. You're going to notice over the course of the next 2 hours that they're saying a little wind, some rain. But you're good down there in South Florida. Up near Tampa, not so much. But that's 3.5 hours away. And people don't understand, Florida is a very, very large state. It would literally take like 10 hours to drive from the southern tip all the way up the Panhandle and out. So I appreciate the well-wishers, but for now, we're good. What's the weather report in Toronto, Moose?
It's warming up, which is good. It's going to be another nice day. A little cloudy. But what's the song? Okay, now you got me the song. Is it Vidalia? What's the country song?
Sammy Kershaw. Fidelia. I know. And now you got me all scripted. Idalia, I believe, is the name of this hurricane. That's the weather report coming up on the program today in our CFLPA Player Spotlight for Sober Carpenter, non-alcoholic craft beer. We'll be joined by Cleyon Laing of the Ottawa REDBLACKS defensive lineman and former Miami Dolphin. And from Post Media, the Regina Leader Post, Taylor Shire is going to join us for a Labor Day Classic preview. And also, tell him if he's watching now, I want to know how the Pats are going to make out without Connor Bedard and John Paddock. Don't you know, God's team's going to be without two of their serious leaders from the last couple of years. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? And
idea.
I'm serious, by the way. I have talked to a lot of people across Canada, some in America, that tell me they watch. They DM me. They'll write me on Facebook. I'm like, write into the show, please. That's how I know. They're like, what? It just blows their mind that the guy that they're watching on the screen or listening out of the radio, you can text him and he'll speak to you. That's what we do here. So it's for EMJ Marketing, 902-518-3033. They provide the right keynote speaker for your event. Contact Joe at emjmarketing.com today. Number one, the injury-riddled Toronto Blue Jays trailing the visiting Washington Nationals 5-3 with none out and the bases loaded in the bottom of the ninth last night. Could only score one run, and they lost 5-4 Tuesday. Keibert Ruiz hit a 3-run home run. Carter Kieboom had a 2-run drive, and Washington dropped Toronto 3.5 games behind Houston and Texas for the American League final wild card berth. Rookie Davis Schneider homered for Toronto, which has lost 5 of 7. They're going to play matinee today. Quick poll, Moose, just from you and I, not for Key Auto Group. Do you buy injuries as an excuse for losing? 90% of me says no, I do not buy injuries as an excuse. Do you?
I don't. I've got a little time for it, but I don't buy injuries, not with this group. I think there's too much talent still in the roster. And you just said, bases loaded in the ninth, none out. Can only get one run across the plate. I don't know what the issue is, but when you're in the most critical point of the season, you're losing 5 of 7, something's not right, and changes are going to have to be made.
Yeah, looks so. Thank you for that. And as the chief apologist for a professional sports team for 20 years, I would always use injuries. But now that I'm not in that role, I'm like, no. Your stars aren't performing as you said. You don't have the depth. And I just realized I don't think I'm plugged in. So if my laptop dies, bear with me. But I think we'll be okay for this segment. We're okay. Your eyes just glazed over. It's my bad. Or hang on. Yeah, we'll be okay. So I got point 2 is the latest on Nathan Rourke. And point 3 is this. I wonder if they're rolled into each other. The New England Patriots waived quarterbacks Bailey Zappi and Malik Cunningham, the team announced Tuesday, as it cut its roster down to 53 players. Here's what you need to know. The Patriots only carried one quarterback on the roster coming out of Tuesday, Mac Jones. Zappi, the Patriots' 2022 fourth-round pick, played in 4 games with 2 starts as Mac Jones dealt with injuries last year, and they went 2-0 with him. He won the Boca Bowl here just down the street. I believe it was Western Kentucky just a few years ago, but for whatever reason, Bill cut him. And Cunningham came to New England just this offseason as an undrafted rookie from Louisville. So I get it. People are tying this all together. Hey, New England needs a quarterback. They only have one. Nathan Rourke sitting there available. I'm sitting here over the next 2 hours waiting to see a notification come across my phone that Nathan Rourke is signed with the New England Patriots, unless he goes to another team. You pointed out the Arizona Cardinals yesterday, and based on record and waiver, I think Arizona's the first team that he's eligible to go to. So, yeah, it's all tied in together is my read on that.
Yeah. I think it's tied in, and it'll be interesting to see if Nathan does land somewhere here. This is a big shock because Bailey Zappi played well as a rookie, and it's only his second season, so you thought he would stick around. And they were pretty high on Cunningham, too. At least there was some excitement there. He could move around, play some different spots, too, on the field. He was versatile. So that was a big shock coming out of New England, but you're right, there's an opening there if a team like Arizona doesn't want to claim Nathan Rourke.
Our CFL coverage is brought to you in part by Sober Carpenter Non-Alcoholic Craft Beer. Check them out at sobercarpenter.com. We're going to get real here right now, and this is one of the reasons why people do love this show. It's because we do get real on it. And the reason I bring that up, Moose, is I just checked the EMJ Marketing text line. And Jack Hughes is watching. He's in Medicine Hat regarding the milestone math yesterday where I tripped myself up and I was missing a 0 on what a practice roster player makes in the NFL. Jack writes in, he says, Rod, FYI, NFL practice roster pays season only, not 12 months. Nathan Rourke will make just over $200,000. And that was my bad. I should not have tried to do live math or math on live national television and radio in Atlanta. I shouldn't have done that because it's not my strong suit. And I want to tell you a story. I saw this thing going around the other day that all these 20 bad things, how many of these did you do? And one was, did you cut class? I did. I staged a walkout of math class in like grade 11 or 12. Problem was, my mom was the school secretary. So when Mr. Welsh looked around the class and saw Rodney wasn't there, what do you think he did? Marched down the hallway to my mom's and said, your kid's not in my class. They found me in the library, and they had a little meeting, and they said, Rod, why would you cut class? Why would you cut math class? And I'm like, because I can't do it. I'll never need to do it. Yesterday proved that to be wrong, but I think I was talking about trigonometry. But I'm like, it's dumb. I hate it. I don't need to be here. And he turned to my mom, and he goes, he is trying. It's not like he's looking out the window and doesn't care. He's trying. He just doesn't get it. See what I'm saying? I don't get math. Pretty good at words, pretty good at writing. Math, I'm terrible at it. So I never tried it yesterday on the show. So thank you for pointing that out. And I also should have known that it was only a 6-month wage. And there are a few people here that are all writing, and they take glee now that I opened the line from yesterday. And perfect. Never said I would. Are you ready to move on, Moose? Or do you have more thoughts on Nathan Rourke, or where he may land up?
No, I think I'm good there. I could just hear stories about milestone math all day, but no, we could probably move on.
Okay, when Darren starts talking next time, guys, put the camera on him, and I'll just fix my laptop. Point 4 is our poll question today for Key Auto Group, and it is, which is Canada's gate in the Canadian Football League? And I'll talk to Key Auto Group in a moment, but your schedule is this. Saturday, BC Lions at Montreal. Alouettes, that's Saturday. Sunday, Winnipeg Blue Bombers at the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Monday, Toronto and Hamilton. And that's the early game. And then later on, Edmonton and Calgary. Like any time this poll's on, you could make a case for any of those games. I voted for Winnipeg. Winnipeg is up there in some of our viewership numbers. But I'll tell you this about Key Auto Group. They bring you our poll every day at the Key Auto Group. You can buy with confidence knowing that they provide reports on all vehicles they sell. Get fully informed about your next vehicle by going to keyautogroup.ca. You know what I'm saying, Moose? Fans of BC and Montreal can give you a reason why they would be favored. Sask, I got to be honest with people. You get it. I think people are maybe starting to get it. I don't even know what number of Labor Day Classic this is. Is it 59? Is it 60? While I'll be watching, I'm just not following it that closely anymore. I see that the Riders named Jake Dolegala as their starting quarterback on Tuesday. I noticed that this morning. People are finally understanding the Rider show, and I'm not the Rider guy, but I'm still the CFL guy, and I'm following it. But I don't know what number Labor Day Classic it is. Toronto, Hamilton, QEW. Tomorrow we'll play Deal or No Deal. I think we all expect the Argos to motor about the Ticats. And then Edmonton at Calgary. Should the Elks win, they leapfrog the Stamps into the standings. Everyone's a great one, but they're all pretty good and have their storylines. What's the game of the week for you?
Edmonton, Calgary for me, because now all of a sudden Labor Day means something. The two games mean something. And here's the thing for me when it comes to Edmonton, Calgary, the Stampeders need to be looking over their shoulder a little bit. Edmonton's now won 2 in a row. And now Trey Ford gets a bigger test, probably the biggest test that he's had when it comes to now taking on Calgary, a team that Edmonton's chasing. And should Edmonton catch Calgary, then they'll start to look at Saskatchewan, who has to go into these 2 games against Winnipeg, where there's a chance the Bombers could take them both. The Bombers should take them both because on paper, they're the better team. So now all of a sudden, there's a lot of intrigue around Edmonton and the Elks. We're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but that's where I see the game of the week for me. But I'm with you. I could make a case for every other game. Like Saskatchewan, Winnipeg is big. Montreal, BC, because those are 2, I would call them now fringe teams trying to get back to the top tier. BC stumbled a little bit. Montreal stumbled lately. So there's intrigue, but for me, it's Calgary, Edmonton.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking news on this Wednesday, and that's why this, if it isn't already, is very quickly going to become your favorite daytime show, period. Sports or otherwise. We got breaking news on 2 fronts. Maybe you saw the Toronto Maple Leafs have signed head coach Sheldon Keefe to a multi-year contract extension, and from the Western Hockey League, the Lethbridge Hurricanes have hired Bill Peters as their head coach. He was fired as the head coach of the Calgary Flames in 2019. I knew that was coming because I read Greg Drennan's blog. It is a little bit of a surprise to me. I'm thinking, obviously, that Brad Tree living there in Toronto, he likes what he sees from Sheldon Keefe and the talks that they've had and didn't want him going into this season as a lame duck coach. But you, if I'm right, haven't been historically the biggest Sheldon Keefe fan, and you're a Leaf fan, if I have that right.
That's right. I haven't been the biggest Sheldon Keefe fan. I'm not a big fan of the body language and a few little things that tell me that, I don't know if he's the right guy or not, but I'm not in those meetings. And Brad Treliving has a lot of confidence in him, obviously, or he wouldn't have handed out an extension heading into the season. So let's see where it goes. Doesn't mean he's going to coach the entire contract, but at least he's got some job security. And I think if you're going to do the job, you want to do it, not worrying about what's going to happen, if I'm not 100% perfect. So I trust Brad Treliving in this situation, and we'll give Keefe another shot.
I think we've got time. Now would be a good time to go through my Pacific Division predictions. I saved the best for last. Our ratings show that our viewership is heavily anchored in Western Canada. Shocking, where I've spent a half century of my life. Here's my prediction for the Pacific Division of the National Hockey League, and I'm assuming Moose has his ready to go too. Number 1, the Edmonton Oilers. They've been climbing the mountain. Now it's time to reach the top of the mountain. Number 2, the Vegas Golden Knights, the reigning Stanley Cup champions. Number 3, the Los Angeles Kings, because they've been getting better too. Number 4, the Calgary Flames. New head coach Ryan Haska promised that things would be different this year, and hopefully they are, and one of those is making the playoffs in his first year. And then just missing the cutoff line, potentially a wild card team, the Vancouver Canucks. They're right there. They're getting better. I like what they've done. Obviously, hiring Rick Tocchet, completely retooling the blue line. They got a chance, but like Justin Trudeau, they're just not ready. Next, the Seattle Kraken. I think they're going to take a step back this year. Still like their team, but somebody's got to miss. And then Anaheim, San Jose, wrestling in the mud. You can toss them in the air. Last year Anaheim was dead last. I think the Sharks will be this year, but they're not ready either. So Edmonton, Vegas, LA, Calgary, making the playoffs, missing Vancouver, Seattle, Anaheim, San Jose. Your thoughts?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm pretty on board with that. I mean, I've got Edmonton 1. Where I change is I think Vegas is going to take a step backwards this year, just based on salary cap things. I think they'll still be okay, but I've got Edmonton 1, LA 2. I've got Calgary 3. Vegas 4, Vancouver 5, and then I have Seattle taking a step back too. I think Anaheim will surprise some people. I have Anaheim, then Seattle, and then San Jose. I think the division will be tighter than we think, except for the Sharks at the bottom. I think they'll struggle.
Yeah. Thank you for that, by the way. We've got a lot to get to when we come back. We got more NFL stuff, a lot more hockey stuff and NHL stuff. From Kevin the Medium, he's watching an Airdrie on Channel 230, Game Plus Television, Shaw, Rogers Cable. And he says, according to Farhan Lalji's Twitter, if I have this right, Kevin, Nathan Rourke went unclaimed. The deadline, I believe, was noon Eastern for him to be claimed by another NFL team. Kevin has just simply written unclaimed. So I can only assume that means he went unclaimed. So now he's got the chance to stay. Well, he can go anywhere. He could come back to the Canadian Football League and add some very rich football. Love the CFL telling me yesterday that everybody should scrape up some money and get him back to the. And he is Canadian, don't you know? So, hey, I feel like we're just getting rolling. We're halfway through the warm-up. On the way, Cleyon Laing and Taylor Shire. We're live on Game Plus, as I said, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, the RP Show continues on this Wednesday. Thanks for joining us on Game Plus TV, the radio, WQEE, and streaming. Moose, tell me please, because my feed in here has been perfect. On a scale of 1 to 10, we're having some internet issues. I'm having some computer issues all, I think. How's it on a scale of 1 to 10 in your mind?
It's not bad. It's a scale of 1 to 10. I'd say about a 7. It gets a little choppy here and there, but it's not overall. It's good.
Well, it might have something to do with the storm and the heat, and I don't know if I have to restart my computer or move inside. I can do all those things. Just let me know. And by the way, if I lose you, because I've gone off the YouTube stream, I don't have any YouTube chats. So anybody that wants to write in their comments, go strictly off the EMJ marketing text line, because I do have that, 902-518-3033. If anybody wants to make a call, I have a cellular phone. Number one, Troy in Toronto is watching on Game Plus TV, and he says, is it a coincidence that Austin Matthews signs and then Sheldon Keefe signs? I'm sure they are in some way linked. I've never been an NHL general manager. It's a very select group of guys that have. But Brad Treliving's a smart guy. He's been around the mulberry bush. He's hired and fired people before. I just assumed that he went in there and had a thorough review of everything. And he liked what was coming out of Sheldon Keefe's mouth, and he liked what was coming out of Austin Matthews' mouth. I mean, gosh knows, we probably didn't spend enough time on Austin Matthews re-signing, but gosh also knows everybody else did. On all the other TV channels. So your thoughts on Sheldon Keefe's extension, a little more on that, and then how much is it linked to Austin Matthews?
I think part of it is, keeping this group together. And I always wonder, what's the comfort level when you have stars, right, that are commanding lots of money? Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Riley, and even Tavares. You've got these guys there, the stars and the players more than ever have more power than they've ever had in every sport. So you'd ask them, what's the thoughts on the coach? And if there was a resounding, we don't like this guy, we want him out of here from that group, I don't think Sheldon Keefe gets an extension. So I think there's obviously there's some comfort level between the players and Sheldon Keefe, and that's a good thing. Maybe it's a bad thing, because maybe he lets them off too easy, right? And then they don't get to really bear down in the playoffs. I don't know, but clearly they're all on the same page and coming back.
Well, I'll tell you what, in terms of live television and radio, this is awesome today. So breaking news, Sheldon Keefe signing an extension with the Leafs multi-year. Bill Peters taking over the Lethbridge Hurricanes, which I know isn't a huge news to a lot of our audience, but it's huge news to some of our audience. And then I just got a notification from TSN that Nathan Rourke is officially joining the practice roster of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I am enjoying just watching the commentary on a lot of things pertaining the National Football League. So as the weekend comes closer to Labor Day weekend in the CFL, we'll talk more about that. But right now, the NFL is first, as far as I'm concerned. And I saw Nathan Rourke, whether he told Justin Dunk or somebody, he goes, if I'd have known I wouldn't have had a shot to compete for the number 2 job, I wouldn't have gone to Jacksonville. Did you see that quote, A and B? Do you know where it came from?
I think it was Dunk. That's where I saw it, was from Justin Dunk. And, yeah, it's a tough one because, you're trying to beat out a 29-year-old quarterback who just got an extension and got some money, and you go in there to compete for the number 2. I think if that was a straight up competition, Nathan Rourke did enough to win the battle. I mean, CJ Beathard didn't by any means have a terrible preseason, but Nathan Rourke was better. So hopefully the communication with Doug Pedersen and the group in Jacksonville is a good one, that Nathan feels comfortable there, that he's going to get his opportunity. He's number 3 on that depth chart, so he'll probably get an opportunity maybe to dress for a few games if they want to dress 3 quarterbacks. And if something should happen to Trevor Lawrence, I think Nathan will have a real shot to maybe get on the field at some point.
Well, and who knows what's gone on behind the scenes the last couple of days. For instance, I have been around this long enough to know when you clear waivers, you became an outright free agent. He could have come back to the CFL if he wanted to, but he wanted to stay in Jacksonville. And again, that's up to him. Everybody's different. Don't assume what somebody else is thinking. That's number 1. Number 2, and trust me, we're going to get to Aaron Rodgers and Hard Knock because I kind of want to get your thoughts on what's going on there. But I was listening to our guy Joe Rose this morning on WQAM Sports Radio. He played for the Dolphins, but now he hosts a morning show, and everybody loves him down here. And I don't want to steal his line. I'll credit Joe Rose, but they were talking about Bill Belichick and how, as I read earlier in the Quick Six, they came out of their final cut down with only 1 quarterback on the roster, Mac Jones. Belichick is just getting ripped and mocked from neck to navel by all the media going, how do you only have 1 quarterback a week before the start of the regular season? And Joe goes, man, he does some real dumb things for a guy that's won 6 Super Bowls and 300 games. You know what I mean? Like, at what point do you stop criticizing Bill Belichick? Because it's not a week before, it's about 10 days before the start of the regular season for they'll find somebody. Basically, there's a method to his madness, but I just get the sense that it doesn't matter if it's Belichick, and because it's America and football, they're going to criticize him, number 1. Or in Canada, punch him black, Toe Blake. I bet you Toe Blake was criticized in Montreal in the 50s for his friggin' line combinations with the Montreal Canadiens. You know, they're never off your ass. Never.
No. Never. And here's the other side of that, too, is these general managers and coaches and personnel, they agonize over these cuts because there's always guys at the end where it's like, we want to find a space. And there's certain players you don't want to put on waivers because you don't think they'll clear. And so maybe at the end of his 53 guys, he's thinking, okay, there's a couple of guys here that are on the bubble, and if I put them on waivers and let them go, they're going to get claimed. So let's put our 2 quarterbacks on there who we don't think will get claimed, make sure we protect these other guys, and we'll add Cunningham back to the practice roster. We'll add Bailey Zappi back, and eventually he'll come back and be our number 2 guy because they need a number 2 quarterback. They need one at some point soon, and this doesn't mean those 2 aren't coming back at all. We don't know.
And then the third point on this NFL, because I said this is what's in my purview right now, is Aaron Rodgers. And I haven't watched any of Hard Knocks. Maybe later I'll explain why. But you have been watching Get Up. Have you watched the clips from what aired last night on Hard Knocks and Aaron Rodgers losing his you-know-what on the sideline? Okay, so you saw that.
I have.
So he's out on the field, and things aren't going well. So he walks off the field, Aaron Rodgers, the newest quarterback of the New York Jets, rips off his chin strap, and then does the classic football pose, gets down on one knee and leans on his helmet, and he's talking to the coach. And he's like, and it was F this, F that, F this, which is fine, because so are we in this house. But he's like, we can't finish one effing drive, effing drop passes. What do you say? Offside on the offensive line, wrong routes. And I'm just sitting here going, Michael Jordan, Last Dance, Tom Brady wearing himself out in New England. Oh, my God, Aaron Rodgers has asked the other guys on offense to read their freaking playbook and do their job and do it well. I'm waiting for the countdown that Aaron Rodgers is a jerk. That's what I'm waiting for. That's it. Because when they came back to the panelists, and I don't need to watch ESPN to figure this out. And sometimes I wonder why I do, because every time I turn it on, there's a new analyst on there. But that they said that's how you win championship, is not allowing the little details to slip. And if you try and hold somebody accountable, you're a jerk. So I'm just sitting here waiting to see how Aaron Rodgers and how this all plays out. I feel sorry for the dude. Actually, I really do.
I know. And I've been watching Hard Knocks. I haven't watched last night's episode yet. I'll watch that later today. But, you know, this is the first time that we're hearing and seeing him really start to get mad and be hard on people, lean on people a little bit and be upset, you know, because he finally got into the game and started playing and, you know, threw a nice touchdown pass. But in these other areas, we'll see how they respond to it. You know, that's the biggest question. How will they respond to the adversity? Because throughout camp and what we've seen on Hard Knocks is Aaron's been a real likable guy. He's been jovial. He's having some fun, really getting along with the other quarterbacks, with the coaches. All the other players are really happy. It's been this stardom. Everything's sunshine and rainbows. Now you're starting to see a little adversity because things aren't quite where they want them to be. This is a team that wants to win a Super Bowl. Hey, so we'll see how the Jets respond.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We're all nice guys and jovial and joking until people let little things slip between the cracks and their jobs aren't done. That's when we get testy. You know?
Yeah.
So again, I'm interested to see how this all plays out. And the reason I'm not that big on Hard Knocks or Spittin' Chicklets for that matter is because I lived it. You know, before you and I even knew each other, you were following my blog. And this was even really before social media per se, although blogs were the infancy toddlers of social media. But I was doing all this stuff, following the Riders and the Pats around with a camera. And the teams, they literally just got used to me walking around with a camera in their face all the time. And I remember one time, I don't want to out the coach. Let's just say his initials were Curtis Hunt. We were in Saskatoon, and I was going to film the pregame speech. Keeping in mind, this was almost 20 years ago before anybody else was doing it. And Curtis is the older brother I didn't need because I already got two telling me what to do. But he was ready to go in for his speech, and the kind of good guy that he is, he's like, "Where's Roddy? I'm ready for my speech. Where is he? I'm right here." Like, he's a big man, bigger than me. Right? He's like, "Get in here. Turn your camera on." So I hid in the back. Jersey's over me, so nobody saw, you know, and he filmed it. We went out and lost 7-1. That's the last time you're filming the pregame speech. Yeah, because it's my fault in the year that we won 12 games. But anyway, again, why I don't want to be around this stuff anymore. Can't handle it. John,
I get it.
Say what? What do you got?
I get it. I said, I get it. You know, because they'll blame anything, any reason why something was different. That's the reason we got blown out 7-1.
Oh, I'm just tired of being yelled at, dude. Don't need it. John Ohm in Winnipeg, right? They've migrated to the text line. So let's not do a spelling bee as well, Rod. LOL. 1 + 1 = 3, right? I got a lot of talents. Math ain't one. As I recall, I think yesterday I previewed it. I said, just get ready. I'm not very smart with this. And I screwed it up as planned. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, Rod, I think it's a travesty that Nathan Rourke isn't on an NFL roster right now. It just seems very suspicious to me. Maybe Cleyon Laing has some take on that because he'll be joining us next. But it just came across my notifications from TS that Nathan Rourke is officially joining the practice roster of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So it was maybe a bit of not much ado about nothing. This is maybe a clerical thing, but he ain't coming back to the CFL. Moose, we'll see you in hour 2.
See you then.
All right. Cleyon Laing of the Ottawa REDBLACKS joins us next in our weekly CFLPA Player Spotlight for Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic craft beers. We're live on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Welcome back, everybody. RP Show continues. Plus TV, WQEE Radio, and all the rest. Hey, Cleyon Laing is, we've been informed by the Canadian Football League Players Association, going to be a couple minutes late. So I'm going to read his bio before we go any further. Born in Edmonton, he's 32 years of age, defensive lineman of the Ottawa REDBLACKS. He was with the Argos from 2013 to 2015, the Miami Dolphins in 2016. Back up to Ottawa later that season of 2016. Spent 3 seasons with the Argos, 2017 to 2019. And then he's been with the Ottawa REDBLACKS since 2020. He is a 2-time Grey Cup champion, a 4-time CFL All-Star. Played his college football at Iowa State. Cleyon Laing, we're expecting, will be joining us in moments from wherever he may be on the Ottawa REDBLACKS bye week. But because we have a moment, and thank you, Producer Clark, for tipping me off on that. It's given me the ability to tell you this. Bill Peters is trending. And I just feel like when you're trending, it's not good. Daytime sports talk right here. You can't beat it. Here's the news, and figure out for yourself why Bill Peters is trending. Placeline Lethbridge. Bill Peters is being given a second chance by the Lethbridge Hurricanes, but not by the player who was the target of his racism. Peters was named Lethbridge's new head coach in the Western Hockey League today, returning him to the WHL and organized hockey for the first time in nearly 4 years. Peters resigned as head coach of the NHL's Calgary Flames in November 2019 after it became public that he had committed an act of anti-black racism involving former player Akeem Alou. Peters said in a statement today, quote, "Over the last several years, I have worked to understand my previous anti-black racist thoughts and actions. I've learned much more through this reformational journey and feel ready to return to coaching. I am in an influential position to positively impact community leaders and contribute to a more inclusive generation in hockey." A statement from the Dub says that Peters has completed an anti-racism training and coaching certification program with guidance from Shades of Humanity Consulting, a national diversity, equity, and inclusion agency. So Bill Peters back in the Dub. Now, there's some inaccuracies as far as I'm concerned in that story because he was on the board of the Grand Prairie Storm, what I was told, or a consulting role in the Alberta Junior Hockey League last year. I guess Akeem Alou issued his own statement today. He's the player in question. He says, he called me the N-word, and instead of apologizing at the time, he doubled down and sent me to the East Coast League. I went through a tremendously dark time throughout this whole process. He would berate and embarrass me endlessly in front of the whole team on a daily basis. Truth be told, if I never said anything, he would still be coaching in the NHL. I am all about second chances, but only if they are sincere. So how about that? Not sure I want to go into that one too far. I am a proponent of second chances. Shoot, I've had 8, 9, or 10. So, yeah, was it last year, 2 years ago? I was the one that broke the story that he was going to join the Grand Prairie Storm, and then that job was pulled from him. He was going to be the head coach. It got pulled from him because of my report. So I'm just staying out of the breaking news business. They can all deal with this. Thing is, he's a tremendous head coach. Somebody's writing in here saying he's a terrible coach. No, he ain't. And by the way, I don't really like him. So I'm not sitting here defending him or trouncing him or not as far as his coaching abilities. But that is one thing, and then the other breaking news, too. Nathan Rourke signing with the practice roster of the Jacksonville Jaguars after clearing waivers today in the NFL, and the Maple Leafs have signed Sheldon Keefe, their head coach, to a contract extension. We'll get into more on that later. As mentioned, Cleyon Laing joins us now, and I appreciate him for doing that. Hey, Cleyon, welcome. Man, I always like to ask the guys and thank him for coming on during the bye, because this is your break time. How's the bye been for you?
Oh, man, it's been good. We're just kind of starting it off, getting a little break, having some time with the family. Everyone, I think, kind of looks forward to a bye week, especially this late in the season.
Good. Well, I hope you're enjoying it. And again, I promise not to keep you long, but it's daytime, live television. I like to get guys' opinions on the matters of the day. Nathan Rourke is staying in the NFL on the Jags practice roster. How do you feel about that as a defensive lineman? Are you like, good, stay down there, I don't have to chase you around? Or would you rather he came back to the CFL because of what he did bringing eyeballs to the league last year?
You know what? I think just him personally, he's in a great position. He's a baller. You know, whether it's up here or down there, we've seen him make huge plays. You know, I think his opportunity in the NFL is not over. And you know, I know looking back to my opportunity that I got to go down and play for the Dolphins. You know, you can't change those opportunities for the world. And I think you know he's in. A good place to take advantage of that opportunity. You know, CFL will be here. Just as a fan of the game, like I said, it's beautiful to see young Canadians going down there and putting an impact in the game and bringing more notice to Canadian football as well. He's definitely a competitor. He's definitely hard to play against, but like I said, I'm cheering him on whether he's here or he's down there.
You know what I think the fans don't really understand, and I realize this with my time in the league, is you guys are just rooting for each other as players all the time without question. Why does that surprise people, do you think? You're rooting for the guys for the best for each other.
I think the CFL is special. I think in a sense of the general love of the game. I think a lot of the players, we've developed that love of football. Maybe it started down south or it started up here, but we love to see the success of other players and just the recognition of good quality football, whether it's being played up here or down there. It's just, the general appreciation of the game.
I love these interviews because I've been watching you for years, calling some of the games that you played in, and I only know you in a helmet. You're obviously a very astute guy, smart guy, and a good guy. And if you're on doing the CFLPA segment, it's because you're a player rep. What made you want to take on that role with Ottawa?
This is the first year that I've kind of even signed myself up for the opportunity. And I think, just as these years have gone on, I've seen a lot of changes in the league. I've seen a lot of things that, the CFLPA bring to the players. And, I've capitalized on some of those programs myself. I think it's just important that, we kind of share those opportunities with some of the younger guys or help the younger guys that don't necessarily know what's going on. And I think, just based on my experience and based on the things that I've seen in all my years of being in this league, I just think I brought, a good perspective and a good ability to help some of these guys out with, whatever they need help with when it comes to this league. And I just really wanted to just kind of give back to my teammates in that sense.
Good for you for paying it forward, man. It's guys like you that make the CFL great. Tell me, how does a guy born in Edmonton end up playing college ball at Iowa State? What happened in between?
Man, a lot of that's just kind of opportunity. I think, I was blessed to have some eyes on me and catch me while I was living in Edmonton, and just having that opportunity and kind of running with it was my biggest strength. I think I attribute a lot to the coaches that I did have at Iowa State for being patient with me and kind of allowing me to catch up to the game of football. We kind of know up here, high school isn't really as competitive as it can be down south. So I think, like I said, I attribute a lot of my success to some of my coaches being, patient with me and developing me from, a kind of a green player to, the player that I am now.
Well, again, that 4-time All-Star, 2-time champion. I mean, that's a Hall of Fame career right there, and I don't think you're anywhere near shutting it down. As a matter of fact, I think you'd like to be part of a renaissance of the Ottawa REDBLACKS. Their fans have been through the ringer, as you know.
Yeah.
Tell me why they shouldn't give up hope here in the second half, or why they should believe that you guys are going to be in the playoffs and get it done.
Man, one thing that I can assure anybody that's listening and anybody that asks me the same question is we have a locker room full of guys that are willing to work and willing to pretty much die for each other when it comes out to those fields. We've had a lot of close games that have been determined in, dire circumstances, and we haven't come up with those W's in those situations. But I think the main focus of us going forward, and from the leadership that we have from Coach Dice and our other position coaches, is just keep fighting, keep scrapping. That second end of the season, it's do or die, and we realize that 100%. I think our best football is still to be played, and I think that once we do come together, we'll be a really strong team. I think we've shown spurts of that, but to be able to put a whole game together and complement each other offensively, defensively, and special teams, I really think that we are on the top of the list of the league when we are firing on all cylinders.
Bob Dice is absolutely the man to do it. Well, Cleyon, I have loved watching you over the years, and I didn't even know you. I really appreciate this chat. Thanks for coming on, and go Red Blacks, man. Good luck in the second half.
Definitely, man. I appreciate you, and thanks for your time.
Thank you. Ottawa REDBLACKS defensive lineman, Cleyon Laing. He is a load. Okay, sports update coming up. Audience takeover in hour 2. Taylor Shire's going to give us a Labor Day Classic preview out of the Queen City. We are live on Game Plus Television, WQE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hey Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a quick segment. But boy, things have taken a very delicious upturn, haven't they? On this Wednesday, with breaking news all over the place. And I can't wait to get the Moose back in here for hour 2 to get his thoughts. John in Edmonton, I need you to back away from your whatever device you're using to write in. Just back away and take a break from writing me. Please and thanks. I'm going to recap these in case you just turned on your telly. Nathan Rourke went unclaimed after being placed on waivers by the Jacksonville Jaguars and will sign a practice roster agreement with the club, according to TSN's Farhan Lalji. The Oakville product had an impressive preseason with the Jags, going 23 of 35 for 348 yards and 1 touchdown, no picks in 3 appearances, but failed to beat veteran C.J. Beathard for the number 2 job behind Trevor Lawrence. No quarterbacks were claimed off waivers Wednesday, according to the NFL Network. We all got to defer to each other and our football friends as to what goes on this time of year, because I loved the interview with Cleyon Laing, and I think you all did too. A lot has changed just in his time in the league, which is since 2013. I understand a lot of what went down here with Nathan Rourke is clerical stuff, standard procedure, as they say. But I love the interview that he did with Justin Dunk, where he said, if I'd have known I didn't have any shot at the number 2 job, I probably wouldn't have gone to Jacksonville. So, and then I see people writing in, these are fans saying, are you saying the coach lied? Breaking news, y'all. A coach lied. And then the other thing with Bill Peters and Lethbridge, I'm the second chance guy. I got to advocate for people having a second chance. But I'm dying to hear Moose's take on this when he comes in next hour. He's of a different generation, and I get that Akeem Alou, I get where he's coming from. I totally do. He's not forgiving Bill Peters and isn't accepting his apology because he doesn't believe it's genuine. I don't know Akeem Alou at all. So I'll say I support the Bill Peters hiring in Lethbridge because I'm a second chance guy. How about that? The extension of Sheldon Keefe, thank you. The extension of Sheldon Keefe, by the way, they're not saying how many years. Unless you've heard, Clark. The 2 years? 3 year, yeah, past this season. Gotcha. This sports update brought to you by Landmark Cinemas. We got some entrants in there, guys, if you want to pick them up for the winter, or wait until Friday. But in theaters now, Strays, abandoned on the mean city streets by his low-life owner, Doug. A naive but lovable dog named Reggie falls in with a fast-talking, foul-mouthed Boston Terrier and his gang of strays. Determined to seek revenge, Reggie and his new canine pals embark on an epic adventure to get home and make Doug pay for his dirty deed. It stars Will Ferrell and Jamie Foxx. Strays is in Landmark Cinemas now. Moose next hour in Tedder Shire. It's going to be spicy. Stick around after this brief pause on Game Plus and Key Radio.
We're all capable of doing more. More speed, more reps, more commitment to getting every detail perfect. And that's why it's important we never miss a donation appointment. Blood and plasma donors are needed every day in Canada to support thousands of patients that rely on Canada's lifeline. We're asking you to join the Hockey Gives Blood Partners for Life team. Join today by downloading the Give Blood app or book online at blood.ca/HGB.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
The CFL's unfairly maligned for lack of loyalty and player turnover. We saw it with the NFL last year in the quarterback carousel. Now the NHL. When you sit back and watch the games, no matter the league, you get over it pretty quickly, don't you?
You do, but you still don't have that identity with the players. Like, players that bounce around from team to team to team to team to team don't have an identity and don't build that real core fan base.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hi, everybody. Yes, it is. Welcome to Hour 2 of the RP Show, and it has gotten spicy today. And I feel like it's one of those days where I really appreciate having the co-host with me, Darren Moose DuPont. I'm in South Florida. You can hear the delivery truck being unloaded, Moose, just to my east. He is in Toronto. We're going to get, here's the breaking news of the day. Nathan Rourke has cleared waivers in the National Football League and has signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars practice roster. That's number one. Number two, Sheldon Keefe signing a contract extension as the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. That's Darren and producer Clark's favorite team. We had some reaction on that. And a life thing here. Bill Peters has been named the head coach of the Lethbridge Hurricanes 4 years after being fired as the head coach of the Calgary Flames because of racial incidents in the Flames dressing room. The target of those incidents, Hakeem Alou, says he does not forgive Bill Peters because his apologies weren't genuine. So, woo! Is there enough to talk about, Moose? Ryan in Toronto writes in, he says, live reaction to the breaking sports news. Just one of the reasons I love the RP show. From T. Will in Winnipeg says, hey, Rod, have you discussed the rumor from Rich Eisen that Tom Brady is thinking about making another comeback with Miami? No, I haven't. But Moose, just tell people how you found our house here in South Florida, because it's kind of a funny story when you were in the Uber coming from the airport in Fort Lauderdale. That's funny. Remember the landmark right next door?
Right. He pulled in to the FedEx place to, he's like, this is it. I'm like, this ain't it, brah. Like, where am I going? Right? He pulled right into the FedEx in front, and eventually we figured out it was around the back of the fence. But I knew, because from watching you doing the show every day, I knew it was on the other side. But the driver did not.
How about that? How about that? I don't know what I did. Wayne in Victoria, BC says, Rod, your internet is great now. I guess you need better Wi-Fi. I didn't really do anything, Wayne. So I want to mention, Darren, too, by the way, our good friend Ash was meeting with A-Game this morning, so I want to get him on the air. I can't live without this stuff. Free plug for A-Game for now. I can't live without it. Hydration. I don't think you've ever had one. I should have had you have one when you were down here, but when I worked out, I used to get headaches and lightheaded and that, and these things completely take it away. Now all I need to do is work out. Haven't done that since I got back to Florida. Okay. I have not asked your take. I asked your take on Sheldon Keefe, and you're in favor of it, I believe, right? We can get to the Nathan Rourke thing, but what about Bill Peters, man? I said I'm a second chance guy. I don't like Bill Peters. I don't know him real well, but I've been around him enough. I just don't care for him. It's fine. But I also don't think he should never be able to coach hockey again. That's me. And I'm not even saying I'm right, but that's my opinion. I want to know your take and the audience as well. We have a lot of viewers down there in Lethbridge on Game Plus TV on TELUS and Shaw. So what do you think?
I think it's dangerous. It's a dangerous move for the Lethbridge Hurricanes to hire Bill Peters. I'm not saying it's the wrong move. I'm not saying it's the right one, but it's a dangerous one. And unfortunately, that's where we are right now is teams got to weigh that, because now this team's going to be hit with a lot of scrutiny, and there's going to be, a divide about whether this was right or wrong. There's going to be people who are going to hate the Lethbridge Hurricanes because they brought this guy in. Because, as you know, there's a large group in society that is never going to give you a second chance. Once you've done something, you're marked with that for the rest of your life. And you'll never, ever have another opportunity in some people's minds.
Yeah, that's wrong.
And this is, I agree. You need to keep an open mind. What I did and said yesterday is not necessarily what I want to do and what I believe today. I can grow and I can adapt and I can change. And we need to give people a chance to do the same thing. But Lethbridge has been, synonymous with a team that's been really good and really well respected under Brent Kissio for a long time. He's a really well-respected guy, and the organization was really well-respected. So you kind of put that in jeopardy a little bit. But at the same time, if the people inside that organization believe that Bill Peters is a good person, somebody who can convince players to come play for that team, convince sponsors to put money into that team because it's a community team, if they believe it, then they made the move, right? They wouldn't have made this move if they thought it was going to be bad for the organization. So I think we need to give it a chance to see how it plays out.
I appreciate your take on that. Mightily. And BW in Edmonton, by the way, says, I can see Tom Brady becoming a minority owner of the Argos. # squirrel moment. We'll come back on that. Thank you. But I feel like everybody has more of an opinion on this. For all the new viewers, because there are quite a few that have never tuned into the show till this week, we fashion ourselves as the view for sports fans that aren't very good at math. Not Sports Center. So Glenn in Medicine Hat writes in, he says, there's a young generation of media types who come across as rather self-righteous. They can claim to be educated, but I don't think that's a substitute for the benefits of life experience. Right, and how much power do they wield, Glenn? Leanne in Regina writes in, she says, if that's the new president, then Joel Quenneville should be allowed to coach again. Yes. And again, we're talking about, what should I say? Punishable acts. How about that? I'm thinking about Logan Mailloux. Just the other day, Chris Nyland was on saying he's eligible to play now. This is a guy that was guilty of voyeurism with a young lady. If you don't know what that is, look it up. So for Akeem Alou and the young lady affected by Logan Mailloux and anybody that was affected, it's up to them to get counseling and deal with it. Just my opinion. I just, as you say, there's a reason we have a punishment system. Anyways, enough about that because I'm not totally sure there's a right answer, but I'll also say this. The name of the game is winning. And Peter Anholt is a longtime good friend of mine, general manager of the Lethbridge Hurricanes. He hired Bill Peters because he wants to win. Bill wins. As I recall, the Flames were pretty good when Bill Peters was in charge of the team. I know it was early in the season when he got toasted, but he is a good coach. Anyways, to the Tom Brady thing. So his name's come up a couple times here from our viewers, and you can be part of the discussion, 902-518-3033. It's brought to you by EMJ Marketing. I don't really want to get into chasing the latest rumor of whether Tom Brady will come back or not. That's for other shows, other networks, whatever. But did you not see the tunnel in Vegas? Was Tom Brady not standing in the tunnel with Jimmy Garoppolo? I'm not sure. If you didn't see it, tell me. But Garoppolo was about to go run onto the field just for the last preseason game, and Brady was like, something like, go out there and kick their ass, or something like that. And I'm looking at Tom going, he looked amazing. He looked like he was about to go terrorize the Strip, the Vegas Strip. Yeah. Oh, go out and ruin their night. Okay. So it was, I should have known Tom wouldn't swear. Although in the documentary, Man in the Arena, he swore a lot.
Yeah.
But I just don't have it in me to go up and down on the Brady rumor. Will he come back or not? Do you?
I don't. Because it's when you attach yourself to something, and I think you and I are in the camp that we love Tom Brady, right? And when you are, and you're in that, and you're a fan, and you invest, and we take off the sportscaster hat for a second and just be fans, it's emotionally draining. I don't want to go through that. Like, again, he came back, and I thought, this is the year I'm going to go watch Tom Brady play because the Titans are in Tampa, and all of a sudden, boom, he retires, and now I'm just devastated. I'll never get to watch him play, and away we go. If he comes back again, I mean, can I go through that? I don't know. So I prefer to just wait and see. Something's got to happen to Tua first. He's not just going to come back and join the team with Tua healthy. He's not going to join the San Francisco 49ers as long as Brock Purdy and Sam Darnold are both healthy. So let's just pump the brakes here until something happens that would even warrant him to come back.
T. Will in Winnipeg says, Brady sure ain't in retirement shape. No, he looks like $1 million. But at some point, you got to hang it up. I think he was supposed to stay away for 18 months. That was the whole idea. And it's next season that he was going to be in the broadcast booth for Fox, right? And it's like, Tom, just stay away. But I kind of feel like he's a lot like Gretzky in that he is the soul, maybe not the soul of the NFL, but I saw that a lot in the Stanley Cup final when Gretzky was always around. Plus, his family lives here, so you couldn't swing a stock without hitting a Gretzky. What'd I tell you? I was in an elevator with Paulina, went down the hallway with Janet. Serena meant Wayne. Like, the NFL wants him around, but I was Tom Brady. But I'm like, why? He should have just gone in the booth. That is, I've told you from a recovery standpoint, and I'm not legally allowed to say I'm a counselor, but a recovery coach. You can't schedule feelings. It's 1:11 Eastern, 11:11 Mountain. Thank you, Carlos in Indianapolis, for pointing that out. But do you know what I'm saying? He's probably wishing that he didn't take 18 months off. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, if you're going to go in the booth in a year, I don't know that you want to be away from the game for the whole year before. You want to have a little bit of a bridge. So stay around the game, stay familiar with the people, that kind of thing, and just get your feet wet for what life might be like being around the game but not playing the game with no commitments. So maybe he's just doing that, and we'll see where he pops up throughout the season. But at the other hand, that's a lot of time on your hands. When you go from playing the game and watching film and working out, and at the time he was married and had the kids, so you're balancing all that to, like, all of a sudden all your time opens up, like, it becomes a lot of, what do I do with myself? And you kind of go a little crazy, and you got to force yourself to get out of the house and do things. So all of a sudden Tom goes where he's comfortable, and that's to the football field.
For sure. And T. Will, by the way, writes in and says, for a guy that didn't want to talk about Brady, Rod's sure talking a lot about Tom Brady. Hey, you brought it up. And number two, I've been around the mulberry bush a few times, 35 years in this business. Why were the Kardashians famous and so popular? It makes no sense. Can you please tell me what Paris Hilton's talent is? I don't know, but you people are fascinated by them. So I could sit here and talk about junior football if you want, but nobody's going to watch. I know what sells. Chad in Lethbridge writes in and says, regarding the Hurricanes hiring Bill Peters, big news today. Jen from the Four Seasons chimed in and wanted to know what she'd missed. Bill Peters, fired by the Flames in October of 2019 for a racial incident or series of them, has taken over the Hurricanes. Chad in Lethbridge says, under Brent Kissio, they just couldn't get over the hump. Rumor is Akeem Alou won't take Peters' call to apologize. If that's the case, then it's on Alou. See, that's Chad's take. Everybody's got an opinion on this. I've given mine. There's certain people that I won't accept an apology from anymore either. So trust me, I get it. It's about forgive and forget. And I had a long talk with a really good friend of mine whom I hadn't seen from the ages of 11 to 15. Darren, we were together every day for 4 years. Every day we were together. And I didn't tell you this. He came to the hotel in Calgary, and he, by the way, is in recovery too. And he brought his swimming trunks. And like we were 10 again, he was like, I brought my swimming trunks. And we went and swam for the afternoon in the hotel pool. And we talked about the way we were raised in rural Sask. And how I said when I got to Calgary in college, when I was 17 years old, I said, if I talk here like I did at home, I'll have my ass kicked by noon. And that was just intolerant racial views. I got in a hell of a lot of trouble a couple years later up in PA for something that I said that we used to say all the time. I had to apologize to somebody, and I meant it, but I'm like, you can't say that? When I was 19. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
you learn and you grow.
Thoughts?
Yeah, you learn and you grow. I think that's the biggest thing, right? I mean, you only know what you know. And if the environment you grow up in and the era and the situation where certain things are acceptable, that's what you do. You don't know any better. And the times change. And then when you do realize it, you have a choice to either dig your feet in and say, I'm not changing, or you can evolve. It's like people with the national anthem. You can dig your feet in and say, I'm going to say the old words to our national anthem. Or you can just evolve and grow.
There are
and
those.
Just say,
and there are
those. You've seen them. Like, we don't need a change. And it's like, yeah. You have a choice to grow and evolve, or stick around in your old ways and face the consequences.
I go to sports games all the time, especially in Canada, and you still hear the people yell from the crowd, our sons! You still hear it.
I know.
And by the way, the thing was, I had to do a lot of changing in my life, a lot of changing. And it's been an 8.5-year process. And one thing I've looked back is there are some people that aren't willing to acknowledge that change or accept an apology. And you know what you have to do to them? Forget them and go on with your life. John Ohm, interesting comment. We'll pick this up when we come back. And Winnipeg says, on a totally different note, no more sports figures advertising online gambling sites in Ontario. I don't know. What did you do, John? Cut and paste a highlight. We knew this was coming, you and I. Sports figures are not able to endorse betting companies, gambling companies in Ontario. We knew this was coming to the point that when we met with our exclusive betting partner, Bet Regal, they said this was a couple months back now. As a matter of fact, you were with me. It was when you were in Florida because we were on that call, the Zoom together at the Golden Corral. And they said, Rod, this is coming down the pipe, and it's great news for you because you're not a former professional athlete. So it's great for a figurehead face of a betting company for like me and Darren as well. And now people are writing in about Tom Brady's facial augmentation. come on, folks, I think we're better than that. We're sitting here talking about racism and all the rest, and I don't want to talk about Tom Brady's face. I mean, maybe take the next 4 minutes and think about that and why that matters to you so much. On the way, Taylor Shire. We are live on Game Plus Television, WQEE, podcast, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
2 million liters of power creates electricity. Electricity creates.
View Casino. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
The RP Show continues from sunny and sticky South Florida. I'm assuming it is just as much in Toronto, where Darren Moose Dupont joins us. By the way, the weather update is brought to you by Key Auto Group. No, I'm joking. The poll is brought to you by Key Auto Group. Every Wednesday, we do Canada's Game of the Week. Key Auto Group, driven by safety. Experience peace of mind with our comprehensive multi-point inspections. Visit keyautogroup.ca for automotive excellence. And running away with it. It's not even, I thought it would be closer than this, particularly given the nature of our audience, but it's Sask, Winnipeg, Labor Day Classic. What's the game of the week in the CFL? Over 60% of respondents I saw on Twitter are saying Winnipeg, Sask, Labor Day Classic on Sunday. Monday, doubleheader, Toronto and Hamilton, followed by Edmonton and Calgary. And then it all kicks off on Saturday with BC versus Montreal. What are they saying? Do you have exact figures, Clark, on YouTube by chance? Yeah. 61% saying Winnipeg, Sask, and then, hey, Edmonton, Calgary next. Western Canada, where the CFL matters the most. If we can bring the Moose back in. And the thing is, people need to what are you laughing at? What are you laughing at?
No, it's just, it's true. Like, that's where we matter, right? Where the CFL matters and where our audience is. So it's funny that the two Western teams, or the two Western games, are 1 and 2 in the poll.
Yeah, and the other thing people need to understand, Wayne in Victoria, BC writes in on that EMJ text line 902-518-3033. He says, the Lethbridge Hurricanes are taking a risk, but I also believe in second chances. Bill Peters will have to be on his best behavior. Yes, let's just hope he's changed. And that's what people need to understand. And I'm getting all kinds of messages from new viewers as we're on shot. It's like close to 2 million more homes that we're on. It's The View for sports fans. We're going to talk about sports issues of the day and get everybody's opinion, and we're not always going to agree. As a matter of fact, we're probably very rarely going to agree. Or we're going to shake hands and walk away still as friends, and we're going to have an adult discussion about this. And I think you and I are pretty good about that, Darren. I think we're really good about that. And most of our audience is too, but that's what we're not Sports Center. We're not going to talk about who's going to be the 7th defenseman for the Leafs. Not going to happen. Not here. Who's it going to be, Clark? He wasn't listening. Did I lose you?
Connor Timmins. It's Connor Timmins, but he's not.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Hey. What the hell? Why are people why are they writing in saying there's no labor? Oh, okay. Never mind. Jeff the Stamps fans is being weird. Hey, Jen at the Four Seasons says, do RP peeps get a discount at Deer Valley? I'm going golfing for the first time on Tuesday. I'm not sure where I want to go yet. Did we ever do a deal? Mention the RP show and get 15% off green fees or a free card or something like that?
No, but call and mention and say, what kind of deal do I get? Because I've been watching the RP show and I just want to golf at Deer Valley after seeing all those ads. Mention it. Maybe they'll give you a deal.
There you go. Hey, mention you're there, Jet, and it's difficult. Mind you, every golf course for me is difficult. A mini golf course is difficult for me. But mention that you saw their ad on the RP show, Jen, and maybe they'll do something for you. Maybe they'll give you a good seat in the bathroom. I don't know. We probably should have been on that long ago. Arlen Bruce III, of all things, writes in and says, great morning, RP and Darren. How about the RP staff invest in an NHL Women's Hockey League? I'm on board. By the way, Saskatchewan's quarterback will have a day on Labor Day. I love Labor Day in Sask. And AB also had a comment in here earlier about Nathan Rourke coming to the CFL. AB said he had the choice with the San Francisco 49ers when he was not claimed off waivers to stay in San Fran, sign with another NFL team, or he was convinced to go to the Toronto Argonauts and have moved on well, or obviously turned out very well. I would say this about AB's plan for you and I to invest in a National Hockey League women's team. You worry about your money, AB. We'll worry about our money. How about that?
How about that?
Good call. Good call.
Yeah. What else is on your mind, Moose, as I peruse the comment section here?
I know. Just, a couple things. I mean, we're sitting here middle of the week, but looking ahead to 1 week off before the NFL starts, I keep thinking about that a little bit, and I think about college football getting going in earnest. I mean, we were in week 0 last week, but that's going this weekend, too. So those are two things that have kind of been floating in my mind.
I'm actually really happy you brought that up. Michael Wynn is watching in Winnipeg at Ice Time Sports right now on Game Plus television, and he actually asked for your prediction for Canada West. So since he asked, and you're going to be broadcasting the games, what is yours?
Oh, I'm just going to get myself in trouble here because last time I did that when I was on a game, on a broadcast, Tim Hunter didn't talk to me for 2 years. So I've been out of the predictions games for games I'm calling, but we'll have some fun. I think the U of S Huskies are going to be good again. Big change at quarterback, but I'll put them number one just because they're the two-time defending champions. I'll put UBC 2. They were in the final last year and bring their quarterbacks back. I'll put the Rams 3. Regina Rams, I think, are going to continue to be good. Rams 3. Manitoba 4. Edmonton or Alberta 5. And Calgary 6. But that's tough. I don't think Calgary's going to finish in last. I need a little more time for this question. But there you go. Have some fun with it.
Hey, it's fine. Legitimately, nobody's going to remember. Except for maybe Tim Hunter. And if I may, everybody remembers Tim Hunter. Listen, I'm laughing because, yeah, he threatened to tear Darren limb from limb because he predicted his team would lose in a playoff series, which they did. But when we came up with the Mount Rushmore of Calgary Flames all time last week with Colin Pedersen, I was waiting for Tim Hunter to write in and say, what about me? And I was going to say, the mountain wasn't big enough. But he never wrote in.
Yeah.
He would get that. He wouldn't be offended.
Of course not.
Camper writes in and says, college ball started in the East last week.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. 83-0, Western over York. We're aware. We're talking about it. Andrew writes in and says, been a while. Bonjour, Rod. Bon matin. Comment ça va? Andrew. John in Winnipeg says, Rod's story time is fantastic. Yeah, I don't have one in me right now off the top of my head. But it's only Wednesday. I know everybody's looking forward to Labor Day Classic weekend in the CFL, but we're not there just yet. My mind is jumping around because we have a lot of topics on the table here right now. We got through your Canada West preview. And I know you had Regina way down low on your predictions, but did they not? I know they surprised everybody. Was it just did you have them third? Did they not host a game in the playoffs last year? They for sure made the playoffs last year, right, under Mark McConkey? Didn't they host a game?
Yeah, they were really good. They did. They lost to UBC in a tight game. UBC ended up going all the way to the Hardy Cup and just losing to the U of S. But, yeah, the Rams were good. I think they'll get better.
All these comments are coming in about Canadian University football, and I did not expect that, Bob. For instance, Colin in Ottawa writes in and says, will the U of Alberta ever get out of the basement of the Canada West? They're like the York of Western University football. I don't ever feel bad for the Alberta Golden Bears because of the dominance they flexed in hockey and still do.
Yeah.
Oleg in Winnipeg writes in and says, Rod is fighting so hard. My awesome comments. One day I'll win him over for one. Well, at least you're now speaking in first person. The fact that you've been writing in third person for several years, I refuse to read your comments in third person. So the fact that you're writing in first, because I don't need to think. You saw what happened yesterday when I tried to think and do math. So I'm not going to sit here and read your comments verbatim when you insist like a child in speaking in third person. So that's why, Oleg, if you spoke like a normal person, I'd read your comment. How about that? Now, sports on tap today. I can't wait for the football this weekend, by the way. There's a few things that we can delve into on the offshoots, but it is only Wednesday. We've got Thursday, Friday to build up the weekend. We already got a poll question today. What's Canada's game of the week in the CFL? Let me ask you this. Blue Jays home to Washington today. It's a matinee at Rogers. And then 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 games in MLS. Can you dispel or prove a myth for me, Moose?
Okay.
Because I watch Toronto FC games on television, and the place is packed, and I'm like, is it that popular? Or are they just making it look that popular on TV? And are the TV networks really pushing them up because they have an agenda? Because I get the Leafs are big there, and the Jays and the Raptors. I get that. But is soccer as big, MLS in Toronto, as it seems from the outside? Because, for instance, Inter Miami is playing tonight. They are home to Nashville. I have not asked my landlord, Britt, for his tickets yet. We have not worked up the courage. But I thought this morning as I was driving around, I'm like, I thought I'd see a lot more pink and black, and there's been none. So, Toronto FC. Toronto, go.
Yeah, it's probably a little column A, a little column B. But no, it's popular. I mean, I don't see the TFC gear around like I do Leafs gear or Blue Jays gear, that's for sure. But I think because it's so multicultural, this city, more than I ever thought it was. It is that and then some. I think there's a ton of interest in it when there are games on, even though the team is really bad. People love going to the games. They love going to BMO. And so I think there's a real big fan base for soccer in this town.
Thank you. Well, we'll probably take this around more Thursday and for sure Friday, but I just look at the excitement of the MLS, and it's a league that, I'll be honest with you, can't carry the CFL's jock strap for excitement. It just can't. And for years, I look at the Whitecaps in Vancouver and go, they're selling the place out, and it's 0-0. And the Lions are doing this, and there's 12,000 people. What the hell is going on? This is a mental thing. Yet there's a ton of teams. It's exciting. They evolve. And I was talking to a friend of mine in the Hammer yesterday about Randy Ambrosie. I'm like, I like Randy. I think Randy Ambrosie's got a really tough job, Darren, because these owners, and for their own reasons that I won't make public, but they just resist change. My God, you can do water torture on them, and they won't change. And life is about change. It's about innovation, technology, getting with it. Nothing's changed since 1999 in the Canadian Football League. That's a problem. But they refuse to acknowledge it. So anyways,
the hash marks.
If you want to come...
We tighten the hash marks.
Yeah, right. And the field goal percentages are about the same. Anyways, if you want to come back for overtime, I'd love to have you. If not, have a great day.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Can't wait to talk to my guy, Taylor Shire, coming up right after this break. We are live on Game Plus Television, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
Text 902-518-3033. 902-518-3033. Pick up your phone and text RP, that's Rod Pedersen. Text 902-518-3033.
Did you know that you can help save a life? And you can start right now.
Stem cells from male donors increase chances of positive outcomes for patients, yet they only make up 40% of our registry.
Today, there are hundreds of people in Canada searching for their life-saving match.
You can be a patient's best hope. Be a hero by registering with Canadian Blood Services Stem Cell Registry now.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
I'm Bridget Lacquette. I'm a First Nation Olympic silver medalist, and I'm proud to represent Indigenous hockey players across Canada. Each year, hundreds of Canadians need a stem cell transplant from an unrelated donor to save their life. Anyone can have a hard time finding a stem cell match, but for Indigenous peoples, it can be even more difficult because just over 1% of prospective donors on Canada's stem cell registry are of Indigenous backgrounds. Be a hero. Join me in Hockey Gives Blood in helping to make a life-saving difference to those in need. Register today at blood.ca/beahero.
Hi, my name is Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back to the RP Show, everybody, on a Wednesday, episode number 1071. Breaking news today, Sheldon Keefe signing a 2-year extension with the Leafs that'll keep him there for at least the next 3 years. The Lethbridge Hurricanes hiring Bill Peters as their next head coach, replacing Brent Kissio, and Nathan Rourke will be staying in Jacksonville, agreeing to a practice roster deal there. We bring in Taylor Shire from the Regina Leader Post and Post Media to talk about that. Preview the Labor Day Classic, and we got to talk a little Pats too. Taylor, thanks again for the time. I really appreciate you coming on. Love talking to you. Did this Rourke conclusion, was that what you expected? Because I thought he was going to go to another team. What did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, well, there was a reason that he signed with Jacksonville in the first place, and I think that was an opportunity to compete. There was other teams obviously interested in him, and he very well might have had a better shot at the second job behind a starter elsewhere. But I think he was obviously comfortable with Jacksonville, and I think this just speaks to that, him, having a long-term approach, not saying, I need to be on the field in year one, but maybe, I'm on the practice roster in year one, and maybe I go elsewhere in year two, year three, or wherever, or maybe I get an opportunity. Obviously, injuries happen, trades can happen, other things can happen. So he's obviously not rushing. He's a young quarterback. Not overly surprised because he obviously picked Jacksonville for a reason. Not surprised that he's sticking around there, albeit on the practice roster.
Yeah, major star and a great young man. Hey, so give me your preview of the Labor Day Classic Sunday, Winnipeg at Sask. We now know who the quarterbacks are going to be. How much are you looking forward to the game?
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. I'm just heading inside to practice. Riders are back at practice right away here, so going in there after I jump off this call. And yeah, Jake Dolegala fully expected to be the starting quarterback. Craig Dickinson said after last game before the bye week that he wasn't going to name a starter yet. I think he was being a little bit coy. Obviously, Dolegala picked up his first win, looked good against the BC Lions in quite an upset there. Mason Fine still nursing a hamstring injury, so fully expect Jake Dolegala to get all the reps this week at practice before Sunday's game. And I think, again, the Riders are going to come in as massive underdogs in this one, but really nobody picked them last week 2 weeks ago against the BC Lions. They upset the Lions. I think they have a chance this week against Winnipeg, especially with it being at home. We've seen it before time and time again in the Labor Day Classic where anybody can win. We've seen massive upsets. We've seen close games. We've seen the favorite win plenty of times as well. So I'm not going to outwardly say that the Riders are going to win this game, but they're certainly going to have a chance. I think they'll keep it competitive, especially with Dolegala at the offense after looking good last week.
Did he ever? What are your thoughts on this? I mean, the Bomber fans will tell you they've owned that stadium. And the fact is they've won every significant game in there. They won the opener, every playoff game they've met the Riders. What is it about their dominance in that stadium, do you think? And do you think it continues on Sunday?
I don't really think it's their dominance in the stadium. I just think they've been dominant over the last number of years in the CFI. I bet you they have a winning record at every stadium if you look at. Obviously, their fans travel well for a game which they are favored. And I think we'll see a lot of blue and gold fans at Mosaic this weekend. So that, I think, gives Winnipeg a bit of an advantage, just having the traveling fan base. But I don't think it's just Mosaic. I think I'd have to look at the last 4 or 5 years. I bet you they have a winning percentage at every visiting stadium just due to their success that they've had being a dominant team in the CFL. Obviously, they started maybe not as hot as some would have expected, but I think BC has kind of taken a step down last month or so, and Winnipeg's kind of trending upwards to being, that elite team in the West Division.
You're a Sask kid. Do you have a favorite Labor Day Classic memory?
I'm going to say Kerry Joseph, 2007. I was in the stands. I was, I'm going to say still in high school at the time. No, I was in university, I think, first year. It was a remarkable. I remember where I was sitting in the old Mosaic Stadium. The roof basically blew off the place that didn't have a roof, obviously. But it was so loud. It was just one of those moments that I'll never forget. Just the sheer electric atmosphere that was Mosaic at the time when Kerry Joseph ran it. That's definitely the one that stands out for me.
2007 Labor Day Classic, doing my John Lynch imitation. 27 yards with 27 seconds left to go. Yeah, that's a lot of people's favorite Labor Day memory. Mine was my first ever called. The Riders beat G. Roy Simon and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers in 1999. Curtis Mayfield set a franchise record with 2 punt return touchdowns that day. But enough about memory lane. Jake Dolegala, tell me about this guy. Did you think he was capable of what he pulled off against BC 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, he's certainly capable. He bounced around the NFL for a reason. Several teams picked him up for a reason. He's got the skill set. He's a smart enough guy that he can pick up an offense. 6'7". He's got a bullet of an arm. He has all the skills. It's just a matter of time that it takes a young quarterback to get adjusted to playing professional football. And with a full week of practice, that was his first ever full week of practice as the starting quarterback, taking all the number 1 reps heading into that BC game, and obviously that paid off. He's got all the skills. I think just being a young guy, right? He's only been up here for 2 years, and that was his first full week of practice. So if he can get another full week of practice this week, and if they want to keep riding him through the ups and downs of a young quarterback, I think there's something here. He's obviously got the skill set, got the arm, got the brains to be a starter in this league for a long period of time. So not really surprised that he was able to put together that performance. Surprised that the team won, sure, but not really what Jake Dolegala did. I think he looked good, but he has looked good in the limited action he's seen so far.
Quick one, you said you're going into rider practice right away here, folks. Give Taylor Shire a follow on Twitter. If you don't, but I thoroughly enjoy it because you're tweeting about the Regina Pats now, my favorite team on the planet. So you're obviously covering them. What's the vibe? What's it going to be like? No Connor Bedard, no John Paddock. That is a major change from what Pats fans have become used to the last couple of years.
Yeah, they open up camp on Wednesday. They'll hit the ice on Thursday. I'm going to head down there Thursday, talk to a few players. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting situation with them. Obviously, you mentioned Bedard. Stanislav Svozil's moved on. Alex Suzdalev has moved on. So Tanner Howe, Boreavalis will be the top forwards to rely on for the Pats this year. And on the back end, Drew Sim is out with an injury. He's got a lower body injury that's going to keep him out for at least a month, if not more. The team is calling him out indefinitely. So there's going to be a new starting goalie this year for the Pats. They signed Yuen Hue, son of Cristobal Hue, former NHLer. Who I was a big fan of growing up as a Montreal Canadiens fan. But so they've got Yuen Hue and Kelton Pine from White City. He played, I believe, 20 games over the last 2 seasons and looked good in his rookie season. So there's going to be a battle for the number 1 goalie at camp. Obviously, a lot of different changes in the top 5 scorers, with 3 of them being gone. New head coach, new general manager. It's going to be we're not expecting them to be as good as they were last year, getting into the playoffs, losing to Saskatoon. Connor Bedard basically sold out rinks all across Western Canada. So they're certainly not going to be as good, but I think they do have the right pieces in place to sort of go through a mini rebuild again, if you want to call it that.
Well, we're following it closely, and I'll just tell you, you are my go-to. So I'll thank you right now for all the info. Thanks for this, man. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the game.
Appreciate it. Talk to you soon, Roddy.
Taylor Shire, the top sports guy at the Regina Leader Post. We will be right back with a sports update on a very busy sports day and a final audience takeover in overtime right after this on the Game Plus Television Network, WQEE Radio, podcast, and YouTube Live.
The sports landscape continues to change, and teams and facilities are under more pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. They need the right team to deliver their product. Look no further than IKS Live. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience across all platforms.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersonshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersonshop.com.
Hi, my name's Logan Stankoven.
And I'm Connor Bedard.
We're both Hockey Gives Blood player ambassadors and proud to be blood donors.
There are thousands of patients each year in Canada that rely on a generous stranger to save their life.
Please book an appointment today to donate blood at blood.ca/HGB.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Okay, everybody, it's the final segment. It's what we call Overtime. It's a presentation of our friends at Overtime Hockey Lanes in Calgary, where skill and fun collide, or as I like to call it, an amusement park for hockey players. You can find them at 28th Street Northeast. Just go check it out. And if you like it, let me know. Shoot me a message. If you don't like it, don't message me. But I guarantee you will, especially if you like hockey. So last segment here for you to reach me, 902-518-3033 on the EMJ Marketing text line. It's the last segment for you to reach me. So get to me now. We got, what did you say, Clark? 8 minutes. Now less than that. It's been a big sports day. Oh, Moose is back. Okay, big sports day. So I'll shorten up this sports update then. The Moose is back. Canadian Nathan Rourke will begin his NFL career on the Jacksonville Jaguars practice roster. The Oakville product cleared NFL waivers today and will join the Jags practice roster. Jags waived Rourke on Monday despite a stellar preseason with the club, throwing for 348 yards and a touchdown and no pick. I'm going to throw this in because I want Darren's point on it. I'm just reading from the Canadian Press story, or Associated Press. It says, despite Rourke's impressive play with Jacksonville, head coach Doug Pedersen said there was no battle for the backup job. Pedersen added veteran C.J. Beathard was the number 2 quarterback behind starter Trevor Lawrence. And from the hockey world, yes, Sheldon Keefe signing an extension with the Leafs. You're going to get enough news about that. It's a 2-year extension tacked onto his current deal, gives him 3 more in Toronto. And out of Lethbridge, Bill Peters has been named as the coach of the WHL's Lethbridge Hurricanes. The former Flames coach's first job in North America since it emerged 4 years ago that he directed racial slurs at a player in the minors during the 09-10 season. The junior team emphasized Peters completed an anti-racism training and coaching certification program. WHL Commissioner Ron Robison also endorsed the move. The sports update is brought to you by Landmark Cinemas, in theaters now. Gran Turismo. I'm not going to give you the plot. You've heard about it by now. I'm probably not going to go to it, so go to it and tell me how it is. Sports updates are for Landmark Cinemas, so let's bring in the Moose now. So, oh, boy. I don't know. I don't think I'm ever going to get over this, Darren. It's not a problem. It's just Doug Pedersen said there was no competition for the number 2 job. That's what he told the media, and I kind of wonder, Nathan Rourke told Justin Dunk, if I'd known there wasn't going to be a competition, I wouldn't have signed there. Do you know, like, we hold these coaches so, you shouldn't do news conferences at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just everybody hangs on their every word. No, and that's also fine. They're doing what's best for the team. But hey, I'm going to this college game here on Saturday. FAU Owls against Monmouth, and I had from the Owls, they said, are you going to be at our news conference after? And I'm like, no, because I'm probably going to leave after the 3rd quarter. I'm not interested in what Tom Herman has to say.
Yeah.
Or Craig, you know, and that's not, hey, if they can say it and play with people's emotions, so can I. That's nothing against the FAU Owls, but obviously you have an opinion on this. Sorry to keep rambling.
No, and I think we have to just pump the brakes on getting so upset about Nathan Rourke not getting the number 2 job. I know he played better, but the coach has a decision to make. Like, relate this to tennis. If I'm going to go into the Olympic tennis event and I'm in the playdowns of Serbia and Rod Pedersen beats out Novak Djokovic in one game, am I going to pick him to be the rep in this team? No. You're going to pick Novak Djokovic. He's the best in the world. Not saying C.J. Beathard's the best in the world. Let's pump the brakes. But if he's been around, you know what you have with him, right? You're comfortable with him. You're excited about Nathan Rourke, and that's why he's on the practice squad. But this was one camp, one preseason, right? And he played really well. How many players have we seen have a great training camp and then fizzle? Have a great preseason, fizzle out. You used to have an award for it, right? When you used to, work in the Canadian football. Right. So, I mean, that's my point. Rourke had a great camp, but is Doug Pedersen going to throw away somebody he knows and trusts because of one preseason? I don't think so. So Nathan's going to earn the trust by being on the practice squad, and he'll earn it over time because we know the player he is, and they're learning who he is in the NFL.
Darren in Victoria, BC writes in, he's a new viewer. He's found us on Game Plus Television, Shaw Channel 230. He says MLS teams put thousands into minor soccer and community soccer Not all CFL teams put money into community, just junior football. Good point. And, what are your reasons for going to the games anywhere? You know what I mean? Because they're good community-minded folk, if that's enough for you to buy tickets, then bully. I totally understand what he's saying there, for sure. Hey, you knew this probably before I did. People that are going to defend what they want to defend are going to defend them to the end of time. Light them on fire, they're still going to defend them. Like, I would like to see the CFL innovate and change. I would have liked to have seen it grow in America. They don't want to, and people hate me for that and have never forgiven me for that. So you know what? Cool. But you and I were in Charlotte together. We drove around Bank of America Stadium. It's pretty damn cool. We were in downtown Charlotte on a night when Charlotte FC was playing a game, the newest franchise in MLS. It's exciting as hell. I wanted to go to a game, but it had been a long, hot day, and we weren't going. I've been to a million CFL games. I try and support them all. Do you know what I'm saying? You're the guy that said it first.
Yeah.
You're never going to see the other side of the argument, right?
You're not. You're just not going to see the other side of the argument unless you get people who are forward-thinking enough to want to see it, or at least open their minds that there might be another side of the situation. But you're right. You're not going to change their mind.
And I'm tired of that. And to be honest, it's been now quite a number of years where I just don't want to talk to anybody. Turn the phone off. We sit in here, pull the blinds, watch Netflix. Goodbye. Tired of talking about it. I'm serious. And you know that.
Yeah.
Hank writes in from the Queen City, and he says, Rod, I believe the Pats are in good hands with Coach Brad Haroff. He's a good man and knows the game. Signed, Hank Hirspink. That's the thing. I'm following them exceptionally closely, and I love the fact that I can watch the streaming, but don't know when I'll be in a game again. But I know this. Connor Bedard comes through town November 12th with the Chicago Blackhawks, and that's what's got me all fired up. What are you watching on streaming right now? Anything? We have less than a minute.
What am I watching? Yeah, I'm watching Jack Ryan still. I'm watching the final season of Jack Ryan. It's on Amazon Prime, and that's a good one. I love it.
Gotcha. Everybody, I appreciate you tuning in. And the millions more that have just found it. Looks like we're going to be rolling for a while, Moose. Thanks for this. I won't see you tomorrow, I guess, so safe travels. We'll chat with you Friday from the Slurpee capital. All right.
See you then.
Thanks to Cleyon Laing. He was great. Taylor Shire, mostly thanks to all of you people. See you tomorrow.
Who has more fun than us?